Welcome to the Health Angle Podcast with Dr. Mike Headlee and Dr. Gordon Fimretie, where we'll be exploring different angles of health to achieve the best version of yourself. Now here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Gordon.
Welcome everyone. I am Dr. Mike Headlee, and with me is Dr. Gordon Fimretie. Welcome, Gordy.
Hey, Mike. Welcome, viewers. I'm excited about today's program. We're going to talk about boosting energy. And Mike, when I was looking over, thinking about, what can we talk about energy? There's so many things we can talk about. But I looked at our past programs, how to manage EMFs, posture, inflammation, vitamins and supplements, how to optimize your sleep, goal setting, or even exercise. We did a lot of programs that if you take one or two tips of things that we did in our past episodes, you could go a long way with energy. What do you think about when you think of energy, Mike, increasing your energy and vitality? What do you think of?
Well, as a doctor of chiropractic for 30 years, I ask people routinely, how is your energy? How is your sleep? How is your vitality? Almost everyone says their energy isn't where they want it to be. Almost everyone wants more energy. And so I believe to heal and repair and function optimally, we need to have really high systemic or bodily or total body energy, whether we're healing from a lower back sprain, strain, a disc herniation, a rotator cuff tear, we're healing from a bruise, we're trying to focus and concentrate and read or write a book or do a podcast. We need really, really high energy so our whole body can function like it needs to. I just see it's a really energy drain in people's lifestyle. So I'm really excited to just give people tips and natural strategies to optimize their everyday energy.
No doubt. And I think a lot of people, when they think of energy, first thing they think about are those caffeinated beverages, and sport drinks are probably the worst source, because whenever you have an excess sugar like that or excess chemicals, there's a lot of chemicals and additives in a lot of these sport drinks. But whenever you put any kind of substance that brings your energy up quickly, guess what? It's going to crash just as quickly, and then they feel fatigued at the end of the day. But what is energy? Energy is just like an internal metabolism that we all have. Every cell that we have has a mitochondria. That's the center of the cell that gives us energy. And those 36 trillion cells, they rely on energy, all of them. And we want to bring harmony to all that and make it a smooth, greased machine so we can have the energy that we really need. I think we live in this fast-paced world, and people just, you're right, Mike, a lot of people just drained and they're fatigued or lethargic. And as a result, decreased work performance, and can't even concentrate. So I think that this is a great subject. And I just want to start off by just talking a little bit more about the caffeinated drinks and these energy drinks. When you just have a load of sugar in your body, the first thing that the insulin releases as a result. If you have a ton of insulin, you got so much blood sugar in your system that insulin has to take care of it, manage it. And by the time it's done managing it, your blood sugars just spike and it goes all the way down like we were just talking about, and it just fatigues your system. And then you do that again at the end of the day, and you constantly do that. Not good at all. Additives and preservatives. Our body, let's be frank, our body doesn't know what to do with these chemicals. Our body looks at that, and that in itself is an energy destroyer. When your body has to look at this and decide if it's food or not food, and what does it do? It takes up a lot more energy to take care of additives and preservatives and other chemicals. And then as a result of that, you end up getting poor gut health. How important is gut health? We got these natural microbials in our system that lines our gut. There should be a balance between good and bad. And when you take these chemicals, preservatives, and sugar, and all these bad foods, even fried foods, it causes the gut health to depreciate and destroys it, basically. But you need the good bacteria to balance that. And you have bad gut health, again, your body has to work overtime just to compensate for that. And then, of course, these drinks also lead to dehydration. And I think a lot of people, when they're dehydrated, the signals that they get are, hey, I think I'm hungry. Let's get some food. And really what they should have done is drank a nice, glass of water, pure water, nothing but water. But as a result of all this stuff going on, their heart rate increases, it disrupts your sleep patterns, you end up getting insomnia, and ultimately you just feel even more fatigued and even more tired. And there's a study, it was a study published in May of 2019, it's been a while, from the Journal of the American Heart Association, and they found that caffeinated energy drinks altered the heart's electrical activity and raised brachial and central blood pressure. One of the biggest selling drugs out there is for the heart. How many people have heart problems? A lot of people taking drugs because of their heart. And over time, you're basically destroying the way your function of your heart should be. Another study states long-term issues also can promote tooth decay from these drinks, as well as obesity and then type 2 diabetes. How prevalent is type 2 diabetes? I know it's a cumulative effect, but of course you add bad habits like, caffeinated drinks and sport drinks over time, and that can certainly lead to a predilection towards getting these types of conditions. And I got a bunch of lists of things that people can be proactive, but what's your thought on this, Mike?
You hit a couple of really key points. I just printed out an article today called How do you actually fix gut health? And we're going to talk in the future podcast about that. But here's one line from this study. Maintaining a good energetic state is crucial for gut health, as systemic energy production influences digestive processes and microbial balance in the gut. So this systemic energy, if we're tired and lethargic and we can't really focus and concentrate and get through a day, and we're having the energy drinks for fake energy, pretty darn hard to fix your gut health. And so we need high energy to fix anything that isn't 100% in our body. And then I wanted to touch real quick on that blood sugar. Here's what a lot of people are surprised about. When our blood sugar goes so high from candies or cookies or the monster drinks or all the Red Bulls, is when that crashes, Gordy, and you know this, then our adrenals have to kick out cortisol and adrenaline to help balance that blood sugar. And our adrenals should be used for the stress response. We're burning out our adrenals just because we're drinking high sugar up and down all day. Well, then we don't have any left over in the tank for high stress situations that we all have from time to time, whether we're late for a meeting or stuck in traffic or we're watching a sporting event or things like that. So really diet, all the simple things like Gordy said on our podcast, they're really simple and easy, but they all can improve our overall energy. So take heed. And if you haven't listened to all of them and watched them, get back and put them on 1.5 speed or 2 speed and get through them and binge listen and binge watch. Yes, so that's absolutely what I have to say about that.
I think it's perfect. And I think a lot of people, when they are under stress, that's when they resort to caffeine and these energy drinks. So it's a total contradiction, total sense. And that's one of the kickers is stress. That's a big energy depleter. When people are under stress, those cortisol levels just skyrocket. The body has to deal with that. And unfortunately, stress, they call it the silent killer, because that can increase your blood pressure. It increases your heart rate. Your sexual function goes down. Your digestion goes down. And guess what? Those 4 things that I just mentioned, what's the number 1, 2, and 3 best-selling drugs on the market? It's usually for heart conditions, sexual dysfunction, as well as digestive problems. These are big sellers. So people are doing the wrong things. Stress alone, if people got rid of their stress and did some of the techniques that we talk about on our previous podcast about stress, I think it'd make a big difference.
I'm going to keep it simple, but I'm going to keep it really, really, really practical. Waking up and prioritizing light exposure each morning, even if it's not sunny out, we can turn on the overhead lights and or get a happy light and a 10,000 lux light and just really expose ourselves to light to wake up. Our brain is not going to sleep when we look at a light bulb or get out in the sun. One of my favorite things is to go barefoot and ground, and then just stare at the sun with your eyes closed, not with your eyes open, and just feel the sun. Get that circadian rhythm started for the day. So prioritizing light, I think, is really, really critical. And one other thing about the energy drinks too is delaying caffeine in the morning. There's some studies that says 90 to 120 minutes of delayed caffeine. So you get up, whether you need to use the restroom, hydrate with that pure water, like Gordy said, and then wait 90 to 120 minutes before you have your coffee or whatever, hopefully with no sugars and other additives and caffeine, and then you'll stay more hydrated, and more hydration will improve your energy. So it's a subtle thing. Instead of getting up with your eyes barely open in the dark and trying to grab some caffeine in the dark, and like you're kind of awake, but then you're gonna go to the bathroom and dehydrate yourself. Your brain isn't woke up, and it's simple, but it's really, really practical. Any other morning routines that you like to focus on that are simple but really powerful?
Well, I just want to just really make a quick point because it's seasonal affective disorder. I think you live in Minnesota. I live here in Chicago. Winters are pretty tough. So I love that idea where you get some exposure to some light. It stimulates the pineal gland and does wonders to your soul and your spirit. So that's a good one. No, I think for me personally, Mike, I love my smoothie routine. I'll get up, just gradually stretch while I'm getting out of bed. And then I just enjoy making the smoothie, not only drinking it, but there's something refreshing just putting a smoothie together with your favorite ingredients. And I'm not talking about loading it with fruits, not a fruity type. I'm talking like vegetables included. There can be some fruit, good fruits, like some banana, minimal, blackberries, etc. But I'm talking like get some leafy vegetables in there as well, cauliflower, spinach, and protein powder and whey powder, etc. That's one of my routines that I love in the morning to get going. And when I have a chance, Mike, once you kind of get rolling a little bit, exercise. I think that's another booster. I think we both do it to some degree. Again, check out our past podcasts. We have great information, some tips that people can do. But the way I put exercise in kind of a terms to kind of make sense is everything is in motion. Our entire universe is in motion. Our internal universe is in motion. We're always breathing. Our lungs are always breathing. Our circulation and our blood flow is always circulating. Everything is moving. Everything in our body, those 36 trillion cells in our body, every one of them except the nervous system, they all break down, restore, and rebuild. With that said, our body needs exercise. It counts on movement, motion, activity. So ideally lifting weights, that's exercise, that's motion, flexibility, cardio. Incorporate these, and I think that would be a great way to start the day.
Absolutely. I took Tai Chi for the first time last year into this year, and I call that yoga light because it is gentle and easy standing movements, but it gets your energy up and circulation. It's easy on the joints. It's good for people that don't want to just get up, throw their shoes on, and go for a run or hit the weights. It kind of wakes you up slowly and easily and gets you ready for the day. I love that. A couple other things that I do, Gordy, I have a PEMF mat in my office. So I get to the office an hour early and lay on pulsed electromagnetic frequency. And that literally puts the earth frequencies. I have a high frequency table that recharges my cells to the max, like a fast cell phone charger. And it also will help circulation and inflammation. And that's one thing I do while I meditate. I think meditation, as you mentioned earlier, stress can be the deal breaker. So the meditation in the morning with the PMF mat really gets me focused and stress-free to start my day. So I'm really full of energy after I ate or drank a good breakfast. And it's just one of the ways that I start every day on high energy, whether I slept great or not, because I have that sun exposure, PEMF, good hydration, good, whether it's smoothie or food, and then I meditate. Wow, those are game changers for me. They might not be right for everybody else, but I know they optimize my energy.
What a great way, Mike, to dual purpose. You're doing two things at once. And I think the EMF he's talking about is the electromagnetic frequencies, which I think are totally overlooked. And we got a podcast on that. I couldn't agree more. That's brilliant, Mike. Some other positive things that people can do is just hone in on your diet. You go into the grocery store where the salads are, for example, get the brightest and the most colored types of vegetables and add those. Get your healthy fats and omega-3s. Keep your carbohydrates healthy. I know people love pasta. That's not the carbohydrates I'm talking about. Leafy vegetables and fruits and legumes and some seeds and nuts. So those are good carbohydrates. And then lean proteins. The list goes on. And again, we have a podcast just on this alone. We talked a little bit about the stress, but the smoking. I go to work, and I see these people outside our building because you can't smoke in the buildings anymore, but they're smoking outside. And I just look at that and I go, oh my gosh. The reason they're going for a smoke break is because usually they're under so much stress. This is their way to reduce or handle their stress. But I don't think it's the best way to do it. And the biggest reason is because you're getting less oxygen as a result of that and more carbon monoxide. And you need more oxygen when your body's under stress and you need more energy. And as a result of that, most smokers have got more narrow blood vessels, which increase your heart rate, basically your heart output, and then it depletes energy. So smoking is and there's a lot of other negatives to smoking, but in essence, it's related to energy. This is exactly why you shouldn't smoke. Excess drinking alcohol, another one that dehydrates you and reduces the body's ability to convert food to energy. And the reason we eat is so our body can break it down so we can get those nutrients, serve the cells, get it to all the systems of the body, get it circulated through our bloodstream and oxygen so it's oxygenated. The bottom line is that we need to basically look at our health from all these different fronts because all of them can play a role in our future health as well as our energy right now. And then Mike, sleep issues, you could talk all about this.
Yes, critical, isn't it? It all you say, how do I have an energetic day? Start by a good night's sleep the night before. That's critical to optimize your sleep. And some of the strategies I have before sleep and or in the morning is cold exposure too. Like if you're really tired, that is going to energize you. If you take a cold shower, you get in one of those cylinders and get in a cold plunge after your morning workout or weights or whatever. I'm a huge fan of cryotherapy and cold exposure. That will really supercharge your brain. It still optimizes your sleep at night too if you want to take a cold shower before you go to bed. That's one of my favorite hacks for sleep and to wake up in the morning.
A lot of people don't realize this, but energy drinks, that disturbs the sleep. Poor foods disturbs the sleep. Not getting enough exercise and movement, that disturbs the sleep. The electromagnetic fields, it disturbs the sleep. So there's a lot of factors. You're not sleeping. You look at some of these people who are in poor conditions and they're thrown in a jail and they keep them awake. And it's kind of a punishment. And these people they wake up with no sleep. They don't wake up. They never get enough sleep. And they're depleted of all energy. They have no energy. If you don't get your sleep, you don't have concentration. You don't have enough sleep to even function. Right now, I think there's more mental and emotional problems. And I don't think enough people are just taking a moment to really bring about well-being in these arenas. And I think it's important. There's breathing exercises that you can do. You can do a search engine to check out mental and emotional exercises that you can do. And I think that's really important to hone in on some of those because those can indirectly affect energy levels as well as positive relationships. Let's be honest. We all have a friend or so who might have energy that you can't deal with it. And sometimes that can just kind of drain your energy, so to speak. So sometimes, look for positive relationships. I think that's critical and important as well.
Absolutely. I like to call them energy vampires. And I believe that our energy is like the 5 people we hang around the most. And who are you hanging around with? Who are you playing beach volleyball with? Who are you going on a walk with? Who are you hanging out with after work or whatever? And if you're 1 to 5 people, if you're hanging around with really high energy, positive, upbeat people, guess what? you're going to be higher energy and upbeat as well. A couple other things I had written down, Gordy, is our routines in your planning. In one of our podcasts, we did talk about goal setting, but our routines are to setting our rhythms in our life. Our big ones are eating, that you've been mentioning, really, morning, noon, and evening routines of quality food. Exercise routine, our body will look forward to that afternoon workout or that morning workout. And then the sleeping, really keeping your morning and evening schedule within a half hour is ideal to keep the routines down, like keep our energy up. If I haven't had this in quite a while, Gordy, but if I feel like an afternoon or a noon lag in my energy, I have a mini trampoline in my office and at my house. And so I like to go on a mini trampoline for a lot of reasons, moving lymph and circulation, but also increasing my energy. I know Tony Robbins does that before he gets on stage and really gets hyped up and gets his body in motion. I love that everything is in motion. So I want all my cells to be energized and in motion. So I like my mini trampoline. And then I do my green first powder in the afternoon, not because I so-called need it. That's part of my nutritional routine. I don't have afternoon coffee break. I have afternoon greens first or other green powder drink. That's just really supercharges me. Even if I'm doing really good, I go, wow, and it's not fake energy. It's not buzzy energy like an energy drink where it's going to drop. It's not going to get my blood sugar high. So I love doing those things. And then when we talked about sleep, I'm kind of curious. I'll tell you my noon routine. I take a nap a good amount of the time, and I don't have time to do a long nap all the time. But even if it's 20 or 40 minutes, I just close my eyes and do a meditation as well. May not even fall asleep, but I know it recharges my brain and increases my energy for my afternoon shift. So naps are really, really, really important too. It's NBA playoff time right now. I read an article about the NBA players. All of the superstars take a 1 to 3 hour nap before game time. And they've looked back at the games they didn't perform well. It's because they didn't get their nap in. 1 to 3 hours before each game, and they do their best. So I'm curious, Gordy, what's your strategy? Do you use naps much at all during the week or weekend?
If I do, it's more like a power nap. You don't quite fall asleep like you had said. But one of the things that I really like, I'm kind of a high energy person the way it is, but like during the day, I'll work on patients and I'll have a break. I'll get out there and I'll go for a walk. And I might walk for a good, half hour, 40 minutes, but that just gives me energy. I like being out in nature. And I know in the city, there's not a lot of nature, but there are parks. And I go to the Millennial Park quite a bit. People probably have heard of that. And there's a lot of green there, and just seeing other people, it gives me energy. Tourists are looking at the bean for the first time, and that gives me energy. I just love seeing people's response to the city, and I like taking a little bit of nature and going on my little power walks. I think that would probably be the biggest thing for me, Dr. Mike. But other things, that people can do are supplements, for example. I know people could go to a nutritionist and go, hey, my energies are really low. Can you do some blood checks and studies and see what I need? I know you can go to a professional level, but just some general vitamins that everybody should hone in on if their energy levels are low are, for example, like vitamin 12, B12, that is, vitamin B12, and that helps with blood and nerve cells, keep them healthy. Vitamin D, it's already shown in the studies that that's decreased in most people. They don't get their vitamin D. So that leads to fatigue and low energy. If you don't have that, that's the mitochondria needs vitamin D. Magnesium, I know, Dr. Mike, I know you take this for part of your sleep routine at night, and that activates the enzymes that contribute to energy boosting. So we need magnesium. Zinc, that also increases cellular energy and mobility, improves metabolism. And then coenzyme Q10, which is also a good vitamin. It's good for the heart as well. And then some herbs that people can look at is ashwagandha. That's been shown to improve energy and increase sleep. Ginkgo biloba, improve cognitive function, increase energy and memory. And then ginseng, that stimulates physical and mental activity. And then if somebody says, oh gosh, maybe in the middle of the day, maybe I can't take a nap, maybe I can't go for a walk, what do? Maybe get some teas, get some ashwagandha tea. or some green tea. Skip the coffee, skip the energy drinks. Get some ashwagandha tea, green tea, or astragalus tea, which is also good for the immune system. So that would be good for somebody who's stuck in the office who just can't get out. Maybe you want to get in front of the window, look at nature, get some light. I think those would, stimulate the pineal gland. So I think those would be good strategies for someone who's stuck at work who just can't get out. How about you, Mike? Any other activities that you do?
Yeah, when I sit on the weekends at a computer sometimes and read and research and do some things, I really, really strive to get up every hour. I don't want to sit more than an hour. And my number one strategy for that, Dr. Gordy, is I stay hydrated. If I drink a lot of water, you can't sit for 4 hours and not move. You're going to go to the bathroom. And when you go to the bathroom, do some squats or lunges or push-ups or jumping jacks or go for a walk or whatever to really keep your energy up. And that's just one of my big strategies for everyone else who has sedentary jobs, is to drink a lot of water. I'm a huge fan of music. Music can be really uplifting and upbeat. You're kind of tired, you're dragging, on your way to work, at lunch, or if you get a chance, 2 or 3 minutes at work, play your favorite upbeat song. And almost all professional teams and athletes are playing music when they're warming up and stretching, and they got their personal headsets on. And music, use it to your advantage to really keep your energy up. Or if you need a boost on the way to work, or you didn't sleep so good last night, use music. And then your other senses, like Dr. Gordy said, look out the window, get some sun on your face, and essential oils, the taste of the teas you have. I have a product called Energy Elixir I just found. I don't use it every day. Someone gifted this to me. It's a topical boost you put on your temples and your back. I'll just read the essential oils that are in it. It's menthol crystals, cinnamon is higher energy, jojoba, clove, lemon, colloidal silver, eucalyptus. I know peppermint is a high energy oil. Also citrus like orange can really boost your energy by just breathing in or putting them on your temples or under your nose. I diffuse lemon a lot in my office. It just reminds me of spring and freshness. And so oftentimes I diffuse lemon for a higher energy, fresh scent in my office. And I love that. So yeah, those are just some other simple little things to use all of your senses to optimize not just your energy, but your total well-being and focus. And we gave you a ton of things to do. And, with only 5 or 6 minutes left, I'm gonna finish a little early by saying, what's your number one takeaway that you can share with someone at your office tomorrow or a family member over the weekend on how you can help each other optimize your energy? And if you're really running on fumes and running low, so really set out a goal to maybe even rate your energy every morning on a scale of 0 to 10, and try to strive to, no matter what it is in the morning, if it's a 5 or if it's a 4, try to strive to come home at the end of the day as a 6 or 7 or 8. Come home with higher energy by, implementing some of these strategies. So, and that leads me to the last question. What's your number one action step that you can take starting today to improve your energy so you can improve all aspects of your health and well-being and life?
That's awesome, Mike. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's awesome. What I'd like to do is challenge the viewers to, instead of having that coffee or that power drink, just try to drink water, just fresh, clear water. And just challenge yourself. Try to get through and drink nothing but water. Begin your day by starting out with a stretching, like Dr. Mike had said, mindful exercises. Think about nutrient foods that you can start. And just think, every time you drink something caffeinated or a power drink, guess what? You're going to crash. So try to change those habits. Write them down. Get a plan for yourself. So with that said, I want to just thank everybody for watching today's episode. Please subscribe. Please like. We also appreciate comments as well. Next week episode, we are going to have an interview. And Dr. Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce who we're going to be talking to next week?
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Dr. Byron Jackson. He has written several books. He is a doctor of chiropractic. He works on a lot of athletes, and he is a very high energy young man that you will notice the next week. And he's just full of a lot of information, and we're going to talk to him about what drives him, his passion, and what motivated him to write his books and really get involved in his community, and how he works with specific athletes to optimize their health and well-being. So make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be a really good interview.
Looking forward. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next episode.
Thank you for joining us on the Health Angle Podcast. Please subscribe to our channel and catch us for our next episode.